Hey everyone, welcome to It Tastes Different Gaming Appetizers. In this episode, we're going to talk about Atari, celebrating 50 years in the industry. They got a new logo, which is basically their original logo, and also a Yar's Revenge sequel has been greenlit as part of the celebration for the 50th year. I don't think that was a part of it, but it just kind of some news to tack on to there. But they are celebrating 50 years in the industry with a brand new logo that harkens back to their original days. It's pretty much the original logo. So that's pretty cool. And I think we all remember Atari and, kind of starting out on Atari and playing Atari games and on the Atari, right? So we're just going to talk about that and just kind of talk about the new logo and Yar's Revenge. I always loved Yar's Revenge back in the day. So let's go around and see what everybody thinks about Atari's new logo. Shane, what about you, buddy?
First of all, credit for using the word hearken in a sentence. That was pretty smooth. It's Atari. Atari is such a miss and hit company, not hit and miss, but miss and hit over the last decade plus. But 50 years, that's a good long time for any game company. There's not too many that have been around 50 years. So kudos, lots of kudos for that. The new logo is definitely harkens to the past. It is very reminiscent of the original, with the big 50 under it. It's about the biggest change to it. And the Yar's Revenge, though, I always liked Yar's Revenge, but what are they going to do with it? Are they just going to give me a little HD buff on a 2-bit game? How's that going to work? But instead of poo-pooing on that, let's look at Atari's really benefited the gaming industry. They really popularized home gaming with their Atari 2600 and so forth, Jaguar, or was it Lynx? Atari was Jaguar, right? Yeah. So, they really, helped keep the home gaming market there. Now, they died off for a while and then Nintendo stepped in, and Nintendo basically, built the home gaming market, and then, everybody else is jumping in on it. But Atari really is what, got everything moving with that stick and a button. We all love the stick and a button. So, but 50 years, that's a long damn time. What have they really done in the last 10, though? That's my problem with Atari, is they really haven't done much. I haven't played a great Atari game in forever. So I don't know, but 50 years, give them credit there. But I want more than just a logo. I want, new games, because they hold a lot of good IPs. So what about you, Pat? How do you feel?
What have they done for you, man? They've done the VCS. That's what they've done for you.
Oh, damn. I forgot about the VCS. So does Society and God himself.
Yeah. They're still selling out and stuff. They're not selling out, but they're still selling them. And I didn't buy one. They're a little too pricey for me.
Didn't they lay off a bunch of people so they had the money to continue to try to put them on market?
Possibly. I don't remember, but yeah.
I think that was Amigo.
That was Amigo. That's right. Yeah.
Or the Amico.
Amico. Yeah. They tried to put in for some more shares and revenue, and they didn't quite get what they needed. So they cut it off early after they got no interest in it. But the Atari logo, at least it's not all puke green anymore. It's now white and black with the puke green in the numbers for the 50 years. But I don't know. It's nostalgia for all of us. I wish Atari would do something with some of those owned franchises that they have, but they're still stuck in the past, and their logo shows they're still stuck in the past, in my opinion. Come on, guys. Bring some of that stuff to life. Come out with some better new things. Some stuff we all want. I don't know, guys. What are they going to do in the next 10 years? Just keep redesigning their logo every 5 years or 10 years and say, look, we're relevant, because that's really all they're getting anymore is that the relevancy. That's all they're putting out anymore. Outside of that, I don't know. What are we going to get? We're going to get some, we're going to remake some Missile Command, Space Invaders. Come on, let's get some of that stuff going, I'm ready for them to put out some games. I don't care about their logo. Everybody already knows who Atari is. Their logo is not going to differentiate them from anything right now. Logo is, you're already in my opinion, a logo is something for a company that isn't very well known, right? People don't know who they are, so the logo kind of helps them stand out amongst the group of other people selling the same kind of crap they are. But Atari, everybody in the gaming industry knows who Atari is, so come on, guys. Put out some games. That's what we're looking for. We don't care about your logo. I mean, it's cool that we see that you're still around. I guess every now and then that's like Atari saying, I'm not dead yet. Not dead yet. I'm still alive.
Don't pull the plug.
Yeah. They're still stuck in the old Monty Python skin and bring out your dead. He's like, I'm not dead yet. But you will be. I hope they don't. I don't want them to die off, but I also know that they're not really doing anything to help stave off that slow death. I don't know, Nick. What about you, man? I mean, outside of their hardware stuff that they quit doing anything with, except for the VCS here more recently, they're not really doing anything. At least that I'm aware about. Is there doing anything that you're aware about that the rest of us aren't?
They did bring out a slew of kind of remakes of their classic games, such as Centipede, Black Widow, Breakout, Asteroids, and I think that's all the ones. Maybe that's all. There might be one or two more, but I think that's all the ones they have out right now. And I think they're really good kind of reimaginings of them. They're more modern graphics. They're still that classic gameplay, but they're more modern kind of graphical looking, and it's the base game plus you get like all these challenges that you can do in it, and those are actually a lot of fun. I have them on it. I have all 4 of them on Xbox and have them installed and play them once in a while, because it's like a kind of a reinvention of like Centipede and stuff. Because Centipede, the graphics are different. It's not that old like black with the green. It's kind of like neon, like everything's kind of like neon colored and kind of bright and visual neon looking. And then they have like, I think there's like some of the games have online co-op and stuff like, I think Centipede has that, where online co-op where you can play 2 players through, because Centipede's always been 2-player game where you can play the shooters down at the bottom and shoot the centipedes. And then it introduces new stuff to the game, like power-ups and stuff that you can pick up that change the play style. So that's the only thing I know of that they've recently brought out. I think Breakout was the last one they brought out, which I'm a big fan of Breakout, or I've always like Arkanoid, which I don't know if Arkanoid, I don't think that's Atari, but I've always been a big fan of Arkanoid, but Breakout's the same thing. And so those are the only things that I'm aware of that they've brought out recently. And those did come out this year. Black Widow is a lot of fun. Those are really cool classic games. But again, they're classic games that we've all played. So it's nothing new, like I said, they are reimagined. So they are newer graphics and newer looking. They're not the old looking Atari games or anything like that. But they still are just those same games fundamentally, right? When you come down to the nitty gritty of it, it's still Breakout, and it's still Centipede, and still Black Widow and Asteroids and stuff. But it's cool to see them and I think they have plans to bring more of those out. It'll be interesting to see what they do with Yar's Revenge. Hopefully they do something really cool with it and not just one of these kind of remake classics that they've been putting out recently, like the Asteroids and stuff like that I was talking about. Those are cool, but I would like to see them take one of these properties and really kind of reinvent it or remake it into this whole new thing, right? They could take one of these properties like Centipede or something and make it into like a whole 3D franchise. I think that would be really cool. Maybe they're going to do that with Yar's Revenge. I don't know. So yeah, but I agree. I mean, the logo looks good, and all, and it's 50 years. I mean, I have an Atari still, a 2600 sitting down there, and I have I have some Atari games and stuff. And I love the Atari. I remember I didn't own one. My grandma had one. So I'd always walk next door and pop that in and play some Atari games and stuff. And that was always fun. So it's always cool to look back at Atari and all the games that used to play back then, Space Invaders and Spider-Man. That one was a lot of fun, Pac-Man and all that stuff. But it would just be nice to see, like Shane said, they are kind of miss and hit. right? They have some good ones and they have some really bad games that they've brought out in the past. And it would be nice to see Atari kind of do something. I don't know if they still own Alone in the Dark. It would be cool to see them do something with it. Yeah.
Well, the last one they made, that was near the beginning of 360 era. I can't remember the exact time. And it was overall a really good game, if I remember correctly. It just, the problem with the game it's been a while, but they were really touting their fire, the way their fire works in the games, kind of like Call of Duty and their damn fish. It was all about how the fire is going to do this and that. Alone in the Dark is a game it's a horror game, and that's what I wish they would have concentrated on. But it's still an overall good game. But I think that's the last big budget game that I can truly remember them putting out. Unless they've done some others I ain't never heard about, but I don't know.
I mean, they're too focused on their cryptocurrency that they came out with in like 2020 or whatever. I mean, did what was that? They did Alone in the Dark. What was it? Illumination, I think, is what they did. When was that? That was probably 10 years ago now, maybe. And then don't they own the Roller Coaster Tycoon stuff too? I thought that was Atari, but could be wrong on that one. I don't follow Atari very closely, but mostly stuff I hear about them nowadays is that they've got the VCS, and then they have their Atari token stuff. And I don't want to hear about them anymore. I don't know.
They've got games that could be redone in a good way. I'm not talking Pong, but their Cloak and Dagger game, that could definitely be something they could revamp into a new modern type game.
Yeah, I think they're banking on their like Atari Casino and stuff. I guess I should say they were banking on that until they closed it down last year. Yeah, last year. Atari Casino shut down last year. That's what their whole big hopes were. And now I don't know what their hopes are. They keep on trying to get into the mobile market and things like that. And they're trying to live off of their retro stuff is what the problem is. And I think that they just need to if they want that, have a division for that, but focus on something new. Yes. It's retro. It's cool, but retro is only going to carry you so far, in my opinion. You need something more modern to stay up with the people who don't care about Centipede, or if you're going to make games just like that, or you're going to remaster games like that so they're available for newer stuff. People don't have attention spans for that stuff anymore. Try to release a Pong game and people are going to be like, yeah, it's cool, I'm done in 5 minutes. Nowadays, people don't have the attention span for something like that or any of that stuff, Back when we were kids, that's what you had. It was, that's what you got, Space Invaders and all that stuff. And that was cool new technology. Now cool new technology is AAA titles like Last of Us and things like that that are just immersive games. So I don't know. Games like that, the retro stuff, in my opinion, might be kind of cool for handhelds and mobile, but I just don't see a resurgence of that enough to keep Atari afloat for the next 50 years. I don't see another 50 years in their future if that's what they're trying to lean on, in my opinion.
No. Yeah, they can't live off the nostalgia. They just can't. Because the generations are changing. My kids know who Atari is. They understand that Atari is a game company, but they couldn't name off one game. I don't see them ever being able to name off a game. And, even this group, it's hard to remember some of the games that because the Illumination, never heard of it. I literally just looked it up because I don't remember this game ever coming out. Nick, maybe I did play it at one point with, maybe you told me about it, but that's, if I can't remember it, it has zero,
Well, if you look at the Metacritic scores for it, I think that was an easy to not remember game. It's pretty bad. Even for critics score and user score is pretty horrible on it. Yeah, and I agree, Pat. I mean, like the nostalgia and like older games like that, those retro games I was talking about, like Centipede and Breakout and stuff, that's cool for like us and people older than us, but people younger than us that didn't grow up during that time. And that's where that gaming community is getting to, right? I mean, a lot of gamers nowadays are older, so they can still somewhat lean on that, even with the Atari VCS kind of somewhat lean on that, but you're going to get that niche group, right? That one particular group of people. Whereas most gamer nowadays are coming up and they're still in, they're in school or, like that. They're just a younger generation now that are playing most of these games nowadays, where the older generation you still have those older generation that are gamers, but they do play those retro and newer type games. But they got families and other things going on, so they don't get as much gaming. And so you're gaming a group of people. I think right now the average gamer is like 35 or something like that. But that's going to change, right? And Atari can't keep with that, because that average gamer score, that group that we're all kind of within, is going to continue going along. But then you're going to have this new group, and this new group's not going to know anything, like Shane was saying, about Atari or about the Amico or Intellivision or any of these things, right? They're not going to know what that stuff is. So unless Atari takes these franchises, brings them into the new era with new gameplay and stuff like that, they could bring Space Invaders, sure, but call it Space Invaders, but make it entirely like some sort of sci-fi UFO game, like, with some story-driven UFO game or something like that, right? Or something that's really going to appeal to a lot of players, and from retro to new age type players, and then you can stay relevant. But yeah, if you're just going to bank on the nostalgia, that's the only problem with nostalgia. It's just that it's nostalgia, right? And it can only take you so far.
Yeah, they're unfortunately going to go the way of the dodo if they're not careful. I mean, I know they make money now, but they keep getting themselves into what happened before all the Ataris went into bankruptcy, which is just keep splitting themselves off into these ventures. And I think now they got like Atari Blockchain, and like Atari Gaming, and then Atari Interactive, and now I think they own Moby Games now. I think they bought Moby, wasn't it? We talked about that earlier. But they bought Moby Games, hoping to get a platform for their retro games out there now. But I don't know. And then they sold off a bunch of crap to Bandai Namco a few years back. So, what's going to happen to them? They're just going to keep making studios and sell them off to other people because they have no clue what to do with them.
Yeah, and that sucks, because they do have some games that could come back in a really awesome way if done properly. Bring in the right people, But Atari's not been making the best decisions the last, 20 years. So sorry, Atari, but you keep shooting yourself in the foot, you ain't going to have no foot left.
That's right. That logo is just going to be 1 bar instead of 3. Yeah, I mean, Atari just needs, reel it in, Atari. Bring it back. Reel it in. Reel it in, or you're not going to be forgotten by the people that know you, but, no one new is going to know you. That's a really weird way of putting it. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. You guys got anything else you want to say on this?
No, sir.
All right. Let's wrap it up then. Let's reel it in. Let's reel it in here. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit the like button on the video down below. Make sure you like it. Leave us a comment. What do you think of Atari? Do you remember Atari? Do you know who Atari is? All right. And if so, what games do you wish that they would do something with? Or maybe, would you wish that they do something brand new? Or would you hope that they take one of their older franchises and reinvent it for the new era, for the new day? And if so, let us know what you think down below. What game, or again, if you don't know who Atari is, then let us know that too. Look it up. Google it. But anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. You made it to the end of the video, so why not? And also hit the bell notification to stay up to date with new videos that we do all the time. We'll see you next time.
See ya.